How do you know when the ice is safe? Well, I can tell you one thing for sure. There's no such thing as safe ice. Hey cats, let's take a minute to talk about ice today. You know, whether you're an avid outdoorsman, say you are a hunter, maybe you like to ice fish, maybe you like to ice skate, or just hiking out in the outdoors and you come across a stream, a lake, or a pond. How do you know when the ice is safe? Well, I can tell you one thing for sure. There's no such thing as safe ice. Okay, there's a whole bunch of factors that can go into play when you're talking about ice. This pond out here, it can vary from 1 degree to the other depending on weather conditions, temperatures, freezing and thawing, snowfall. There's so many things that can affect the thickness of the ice. Let's take a look at this ice, for instance. I don't know how thick it is. But you can see there's already water forming in there. That's not good. That's bad. Now, it rained yesterday, so I'm imagining that this ice is probably has layers, and then that more snow came on top of it, so that just made it even worse. The best ice that you're going to find is what they call black ice. It's almost clear. It has no air bubbles in it. In fact, I've walked on black ice where you can actually, it feels like you're walking on glass. You can look right down through it and see the bottom underneath the ice. That's the strongest ice. Now, even at that, if your ice is like 2 inches, can you walk on it? Yes, you can, but you're putting yourself in a lot of danger because 2 inches of ice is not very much at all. And a little jumping up and down, boom, you're going to go through. 3 inches of ice would just be a little bit safer. But 4 inches of good black ice is fairly safe to walk on, and even for a crowd of people. So if you were going to have ice skating or something, you would want to make sure you had a consistent 4 inches of good solid ice. Now, this being, you know, that there's water here and it's probably crusty out there. You can see where there's places where water has pooled up there. That's not a good sign. That's not good solid ice. And I don't even know what the measurement is here, but I'm going to guess it's probably no more than 2 or 3 inches of ice. So I'm going to say that's a very unsafe pond to try to walk on. Here's the standards. 3 inches, safe to walk on for one person. 4 inches of ice, safe for a crowd of people to play on. No snowmobiling, no four-wheelers, no ATVs. Very dangerous. 6 inches is the standard for that. You'd want a good 6 inches of ice before you went snowmobiling out on it and put the weight of equipment on there. Now, 6 inches would support, you know, a small tractor, a snowmobile, a quad, a side-by-side, things like that. You'll be fine at 6 inches, but you don't want to drive your car on it per se. Cars are a little bit heavier, so you want to wait till the ice almost doubles that. So at 12 inches of ice, you can drive your car on it, or a heavier vehicle. Now, when I'm telling you these measurements, that's only for good black ice. Ice that's cloudy or milky looking colored doesn't have as much strength, so you're going to want to be a little more cautious. Now, good judgment is always the key to any time you're going on the ice. Remember, it just takes one incident, one mistake, one time going through, and it could be your last time for walking on ice. Once your body hits that icy cold water, it almost goes into shock instantly, and it's very hard to think. If you did go through the ice, you should try to extend your arms and get your arms up on the ice and try to inch your way up onto the ice best you can. If you do get back up on top of the ice, you'll want to roll off the ice. You don't want to try to stand up and walk. You already went through once. You don't want it to happen again. I would hope that wouldn't happen to anybody. I hope nobody would go out on a thin enough ice where they would plunge through, because that would be an awful thing. Awful. Now there's a couple other things to consider. Say you have really good ice, really good black ice. Now the temperatures go up above freezing. It doesn't take much sunshine on that ice at all to rot it. I mean, within hours it can go downhill really quick. So you'll want to be real cautious when the temperatures rise up above freezing. Whenever you see pools of water out on the ice, that's not a good sign. If the ice is slushy on the surface, that's not a good sign. As soon as the sun begins to hit it above freezing temperatures, it decays very, very rapidly, and it will no longer support your weight. The other thing you're going to find is, say you have a good solid base of ice, but then it snows, and you get a couple inches of snow on your ice. What happens there is your ice is basically like a blanket floating on top of the water. And then when you put snow on top of that, it kind of pushes the ice down. When the ice gets pushed down, the water will want to come up through. So the water is going to find what we call pump holes. And you'll begin to see spots like that out on the lake where water is starting to pump up because the snow is pushing the ice down. The water wants to come back up and refreeze. It'll cause all kinds of slushy areas. If you're walking on a lake that's covered with snow and you start getting into slush, you're putting yourself in danger, because those pump holes could be completely covered with snow, and you step in that area where that pump hole is, you're going through. So again, snow-covered ice is not a good choice either. So like I said, there's no ice that's safe ice in the outdoors. Even worse, streams, rivers, any kind of flowing or moving water is not going to freeze like a still pond will. That current, that motion underneath is going to keep it from freezing. It may seem solid at one point, but you could go, you know, a couple yards down the river and go right through, where there could be like a current causing the ice to be much thinner there. If you're an outdoors person and you enjoy nature and you like to go out and ice fish or ice skate or anything like that, follow the precautions, be careful, and if not anything else, use your best judgment. You should never go on the ice by yourself. Make sure somebody else is around or somebody knows what you're doing. Don't put yourself in that position. Until next time, enjoy the outdoors, and it's winter time, it's cold. Bundle up.